This is the story of Omipelola, her journey from Christianity back to Orisa. My name is Ibiroke Olasunbowoluwa, popularly called Yeye Omigbemileke across the globe of the world. I send my salute to Nigeria, Africa, Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Germany, Cuba, Brazil, United States of America, Cairo, United Arab Emirates, and across the globe of the world where they usually watch me from. Today I'm bringing a very interesting story of a particular young lady to us on this my YouTube channel. Yes, it is the story of the young lady called Omipelola. In a small town near the banks of the Osun River, a child was born on a Friday morning. Her parents named her Omipelola, meaning water is enough wealth. From infancy, she was surrounded by the chants of Ifa, the songs of the Iyami, the colorful festivals of the Orisa. Her grandmother, Iya Oshofemi, was a devoted priestess of Osun. Every year, Omipelola would watch with fascination as women in yellow adorn themselves with beads, and as they sang, their feet beating the ground like ancestral drums. Her grandmother would whisper, "Omipelola, you are a child of destiny. Orisha walks with you. Never ever forget." But as Omipelola grew, modernity crept into her world. Christianity spread across her town with its churches, bright choirs, music, and pastors declaring deliverance from idols. At 14, Omipelola's father, eager to appear mother, insisted the family begin attend church. The pastor preached fire against Orisha worship, calling them evil and demons. One Sunday after service, the pastor laid hands on her and declared, "You are not Omipelola anymore. You are Anne. The Lord has given you a new identity. Forget the darkness of your ancestors." The congregation shouted, "Amen." And so Omipelola became Anne. At first, she embraced it with excitement. In church, she was praised for her beautiful singing voice. She became part of the choir, always standing in front, her voice rising like incense. She has stopped attending Osho festivals and Orisha gathering. She hid the beads her grandmother had given her, and whenever her grandmother sang old chants, Anne would shut her ears. Her grandmother's eyes dimmed with sorrow, but she never forced her. She will only say, "Orisha does not force anyone. Orisha waits." Anne moved from Osogbo to Lagos for her university education. She was determined to succeed, to show that she didn't need the idols. She studied banking and finance and dreamt of working in one of the biggest firms in Lagos. Unfortunately, life in Lagos was not kind. After her graduation, jobs were scarce and nowhere to be found. She attended interview after interview, prayed in church, sowed seed, fasted for 40 days, went to the mountains, but rejection letters filled her inbox. At 26, she fell in love with a man in her church. They planned to marry, but one day he disappeared without any explanation. Weeks later, she discovered that the young man had actually traveled abroad with another woman. Her heart shattered. She was broken. She was sad. But she turned deeper into Christianity, believing her suffering was a test. She poured all her money into the church for tithes, offerings, prophetic seeds, hoping for a turnaround. Pastors promised her breakthroughs, but year after year, nothing changed. Nothing. By 30, she was broke, jobless, and living in a single room in Lagos Island. One night, after crying herself to sleep, Anne had a dream. In the dream, she saw herself standing beside a vast golden river. A woman with long braided hair, dressed in flowing yellow gown, emerged from the water. Her skin glistened like the morning sun. The woman said, "Omipelola, why do you hide your name? You are mine. Come home." The woman's voice echoes throughout the river and the immediate environment. Anne woke up in fear. She prayed against the dream, calling it an attack from the marine world. She bounded and she loosed. She spoke in tongue and vehemently she rejected and cancelled the dream. She fasted for 3 days, but the dream returned again and again and again, each time stronger than before. With no result in view, finally she called her mother in the village and explained to the mother. Her mother sighed deeply and said, "You cannot run from who you are. That was Osho calling you. Speak to your grandmother." Few days after, reluctantly, Anne traveled back to her hometown. She had not visited the hometown in years. Her grandmother, now old but still radiant, welcomed her with tears. "I have been waiting for you," she said. They went to the shrine of Oshun, the Oshun Grove. The air smelled of honey and flowers and fruits. Drums echoed in the background, and women danced with calabashes on their head, tying white wrappers with white beads on their ankles and neck. When Anne entered, she felt a strange warmth flowing through her body. Her mother tied yellow beads around her waist and whispered ancient incantations. That night, she slept like a baby. But then she dreamt again of the Golden River. This time, the woman that emerged from the river smiled and said, "Now you are home, Omipelola." When she woke, she felt a peace she had not known in years. Returning to Orisa was not easy. Many of her Christian friends mocked her. They called her a backslider, a lost soul, a worshipper of demons. Some of them organized prayers and night vigils, calling upon the Lord to restore her. But Omipelola ignored them. She began to study verses, learning the wisdom of her ancestors. She offered honey, fruits, flowers to Oshun. She attended festivals and she joined in community rituals. Slowly, her life began to change. Within a year, she was offered a job at a cultural tourism center, helping to organize Yoruba festivals for international visitors. Her knowledge of chants and traditions made her indispensable. Her income grew because she started earning foreign currencies from international visitors coming to make inquiries about Orisa and Orisa practices. For the first time in her life, she became financially stable. She also met new people rooted in culture who valued her for who she was. At 33, she opened a small art and cultural shop in Osogbo, selling beads, carvings, and African fabrics to visitors during Osogbo festivals and when there are no festivals. Business prospered. Omipelola became well known in cultural circles. Journalists interviewed her about her journey from Christianity back to Orisa. She spoke passionately. "I abandoned my roots and suffered. I returned and I found peace. I found identity and prosperity. Orisa is not evil. Orisa is balance. Orisa is nature." Her words inspired many young Yoruba people, some of whom secretly struggle with the same conflict of identity. She became a mentor to them, teaching them chants, rituals, and the importance of remembering one's roots. At 36, married to a Cuban who settled in Oshun, she had expanded her shop into a cultural center where workshops were held. She organized storytelling nights, teaching children the tales of Orisa. Her grandmother passed away peacefully at 96. She was proud that Omipelola had finally embraced her destiny. At her funeral, Omipelola sang the old chants with tears streaming down her face, knowing she was carrying the torch forward. Omipelola's life blossomed like a river in the flood. She was invited to conferences abroad to speak about Yoruba spirituality. She became financially independent, respected, and fulfilled. One evening, sitting by the river with beads on her waist, she whispered, "I left you and I lost everything. I returned to you and I found myself." The wind rustled through the trees and the rivers shimmered in response. She knew then that her name carried power. She was not Anne, she was Omipelola, the one whose joy was indeed well